welcome to another Meeting Gold podcast. Today, we are joined by the one, the only, Adam, the crime scene cleaner, the man that can do it all. Adam, how you doing today, brother?
Good, man. How are you?
Good. We've decided we're going to do a Halloween special for you guys. Adam is a crime scene cleaner. I don't know if you can hear me, but we're going to take this off. We just want to do an intro with them on. For any of the people listening on audio, we currently have hazmat suits on with a face mask. Is that?
Yeah, a respirator.
A respirator. It's actually really hard to breathe in this thing, so we're going to take them off. But Adam, we're so pumped to have you, man. Let's get started.
Thanks.
Okay, now that we have the hazmat suits off and the respirators, which we just took off, which was, honestly, it was hard to breathe. I'm not even going to lie, but you said it gets really hot when you're doing those cleanings, like on scene, right?
Yeah, it gets really hot.
Oh my word, I bet. Well, anyways, Adam, thank you so much for joining us today, brother.
Thank you.
Can you give the audience just like a little background on what it is you do? What's your background and why you got into crimes cleaning, I guess?
Okay, so
you know what? Actually, just move the mic just a little bit closer to your your face there. Yeah, perfect.
all right. So what I do crime scene cleaning, any unattended deaths, homicides, suicides, anything dealing with drugs, meth, fentanyl cleanup, and I do clean hoarding houses, and kind of everything in between.
Yeah, whatever comes,
stuff,
right?
Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy. So growing up, like, what was the dream job? Like, what is it you wanted to do?
So as somebody now as an adult that's 5'3", I was thinking I was going to be a professional basketball player. So that was my dream, right? But that didn't work out.
Yeah. I guess there's some dreams that are a little bit too far
out of reach.
Yeah. Literally.
Yeah.
So dream job, obviously you wanted, you were in sports big time, but yeah, like I guess I'm so interested as to how this came about, like this idea of starting your own business as a crime scene cleaner.
So I'll tell you the story of what happened. So I actually was in boxing. I was a really good boxer. I was a featherweight. I fought at 125 pounds, 130 pounds, and I did pretty well as an amateur. And I taught boxing. Like I was teaching boxing at Premier Fitness in St. Catharines. They closed down, and then I was out of a job. I didn't have a job. I got hurt in boxing, and I couldn't compete anymore. And I actually went on a date with a girl, and she was kind of like, "Oh, like, what do you do?" Like, and whatever, right?
Yeah.
I was like, "Well, I'm a bum. Like, I don't have a job. Like, I just lost my job. I don't do anything, right?"
Yeah.
And she goes, "Well, my ex-husband does body removal for the coroner's office." And I said, "I'd do that." And she's like, "Well, they're hiring." I'm like, "I'll do it." So
Are you serious?
So right there on our date, she called him and she's like, "Hey, like I got a guy who's interested in work." And he's like, "Okay, so we'll get him started." So the next day I was hired. Literally the next day I was hired.
Are you kidding me?
That's how it happened. I got into body removal, and my first call that I got, I remember him calling me, and he was like, "Hey, are you ready for this?" I said, "Yep." He goes, "Okay, well, we have a train accident. Somebody got hit by a train."
Oh my God.
And that was my first call. So he's kind of like, "If you can do this, you got the job." And I did it. So I worked with the coroner's office, doing body removal, body pickup for a while. And I decided that I wanted to open my own business. Like I felt I was good enough to do it.
Yeah.
To open my own business.
Yeah, because you weren't, I guess, getting paid by the job more.
Right,
yeah, like it was, right? Yeah.
And I kind of saw what was involved in how lucrative the funeral industry is, right? And so I just kind of took a leap and was like, I'm going to do it. I'm either sinking or swimming. Yeah. And so I opened my own body removal service, and kind of at the end of my run, I had 14 funeral homes that I serviced, and Niagara Regional Police calls and Hamilton Police calls, and I was just about to get into Toronto as well.
Wow.
So, yeah.
So that's all currently ongoing right now?
No.
Oh, okay.
Excuse me. That's not going right now. So what happened, there's the Bereavement Authority of Ontario.
Right.
They regulate every death that happens in Ontario. And in 2018, they came out with a rule that if you weren't a licensed funeral director, they weren't going to use you as a removal service.
Really?
Yeah. So I kind of opted out to not do the body removal thing anymore. I was going through some personal stuff in my life at the time, and
Well, it's not an easy job. I mean,
right.
Like that must take a toll on.
I've picked up over 10,000 bodies.
Holy
So
smokes.
I was doing about 120 calls a month for 9 years. So
Wow.
yeah, it's a lot of, I've seen a lot of death. So yeah, so in 2018, I decided I wasn't going to do it. I went and worked at another removal service in Toronto, which is really cool. Like I got to experience a lot of stuff out in Toronto, different stuff you don't see here. Right. And, yeah, I was like, you know what am I going to do now? And I was like, well, I can pick up bodies. I could clean them up. So I went and worked for a couple restoration companies that do the same thing.
Yeah.
And I was like,
Can do this on your own.
I'm going to do this on my own.
Yeah.
I'm going to do this on my own. And that's when I opened up Trillium Environmental.
Yeah. And then it's just been
Just
good ever since.
It's been okay. It's rough. I'm in competition with a couple very worldwide services, right? I'm not going to say who or whatever, but yeah, it's been rough.
It's tricky, because I feel like I don't know the death industry at all, but there is certainly an industry there because somebody's got to do that job.
Mm-hmm.
Just like somebody has to go, people have to fight for their country.
Right.
People have to do that job. There has to be those people.
Right.
Just like there has to be somebody to remove a dead body from a scene.
Yep.
As much as it might make somebody's curls toe, you know what I mean? Like it matters. Like that's it's something that needs to happen, right? So I guess it must mean that with a lot of businesses, because obviously not a lot of people do this. It sounds like it's
not
more
a lot
like
of people out
yeah.
there.
So it seems like it's more. There might be 2 or 3 companies that kind of just run it in North America.
Well,
type of thing.
yeah. So like in every city, I know here in Niagara, you got one for sure, maybe 2.
Yeah.
Out in Hamilton, there's one for sure, maybe 2 out there.
Yeah.
Toronto, there's about 3, maybe 4. But out in Sudbury and stuff like that, where there's not a lot of stuff going on. It's kind of like the funeral homes pick up the bodies and stuff like that, right? Like that's for the removal part.
Yeah,
of it.
yeah.
But as in crime scene cleaning, lots of people kind of do it, but I think I stand out from different companies because I've had so much experience with the body removal service work, right?
Right.
So
man, it's like it's so much to unpack, but I got to be honest, like how do you not get affected by, I guess, doing it every single day? Like it's got to take a strong person to kind of, not be so affected by it. Like what are some things that you've kind of picked up, I guess, in not necessarily skills, but like just understanding psychologically, where you stand with that kind of thing?
Well, I think I've just kind of adapted to it, and got used to it, right? So, say if you're in real estate, you sell one house. When you sell one house, you sell 100 houses. It's kind of just the same motions going through, right? And obviously, body removal is a total different.
Yeah, no, but you're right, because
itself,
every
right?
situation is different, but at the same time, you're doing the same idea, I guess, right? Like you're still selling a house, right?
So I kind of just, I guess, suck it up.
Yeah.
Like I've seen a lot of stuff. Like I've seen stuff that you wouldn't even want to see in your worst nightmares.
Yeah,
right.
I gotta be honest. Like, you never really think about it. Like you don't like jobs. I guess you could ask yourself, like, what are some jobs that nobody even thinks are jobs? That would be one of them. It's like body removal, right? But it's something, like I said, is necessary. I can't imagine seeing like that. I just wow. I'm like shocked. So I guess I'm really curious. How do you, I guess, adapt to each different situation? Because like with death, there's not one exact situation for every single person. It all differs. Like what is that? how do you learn that?
Like I said, I guess I've kind of just adapted to it. Like you do one body, and it's kind of like you see one, you see them all, right? And it's different scenarios, and there's so many different scenarios you could do, right?
Yeah,
so you can get so there could be like a homicide, right? So somebody was murdered. The coroner's office calls you out. You go pick up, and you're.
Now, let me ask you this. Let me jump in. Are you inspecting the bodies as well? Like for a homicide case, are you like noting how they died? No, not that.
No.
Okay.
So as body removal, what I was doing was getting called out by the police or the coroner's office, specifically to pick up the body. Don't ask questions. Don't ask what's going on. You're there for one job, and that's to put the body into a body bag and take the body to the hospital for an autopsy. And that's it.
You don't ask questions.
Nope. No.
Wow, that's
right.
It's interesting, I guess. Like it.
Yeah.
I guess as a curious mind, you wonder like what happened, what was the cause of death, and
you can kind of pick up things. You can kind of
Like I'm sure
together.
as a you see it, right? So it matters. But you made one comment to me over the phone, and I found it very interesting. Dealing with families, and you said that is a big part of your job and something that you value much more than even what you get paid for the job or how many days it is or whatever that looks like on the business end of things.
Right.
It's dealing with the families because they just experienced literally the worst thing that you could possibly experience. And you are kind of like one of those people that are right there in the exact moment that they kind of find out.
Well, yeah, that's a big part of my of what I do as well. Like, you're dealing with these families, whether it be a very tragic accident or it's an expected death. Yeah. And the family knows it's going to happen, but regardless, the family it's still hard for anyone, right? So my kind of goal is I'm the first person when I was doing the body removal. I was the first person at the door. Right. Besides the police, to start the grieving process, I was the guy.
It takes a second, right?
Yeah. Like, so when I would go and knock on the door, I had literally 1, 2, 3 knocks to gain 100% of these people's trust. Before they even open the door. That means clean shaven, which I'm not. Dress nice, pants pressed. I used to have guys that used to work for me, and I'd call them and I'd say, "Hey, we have a call." They'd show up at my house and they look disheveled. And they said, "It's 3:00 in the morning. Why isn't your suit ironed?" Yeah, and they're like, "Well, it's 3:00 in the morning." I'm like, "We're going to see somebody who just is dealing with the death. You got to look 100%. You have to. There's no other way around it. You have to look 100%, right? So say your aunt or somebody passes away and somebody's knocking at your door and you open the door and they look like a bum, you're not going to trust them to come in and take your dad away.
It's true,
right?
It really is. It is true. Like if it takes a lot to make a first impression, and 80% of communication is nonverbal. Right. Meaning it's your body language. Yeah. Right? And body language meaning what you're dressed like, how you look, how you present yourself, how you stand, where your hands are, all of those things are huge factors. So I guess, where did you learn the intricate details of being in this industry? For example, dealing with families.
Just kind of following my mentors in the funeral industry, right? Kind of like picking up what this guy has to say, picking up what this lady has to say, and kind of just blending it all together and being okay, I think I've finally figured this out. Yeah. Like, I think I got it.
Like how to deal with people.
Right.
And I mean, kudos to you. Like, you are very good with people. Like when you came here today, very polite, outgoing. Yeah, of course. Like, and a good energy, not a high energy, because I mean, you're not going to walk in when somebody just passed away and say, "Oh, hey, how's it going?" Yeah. That's not,
But like even when I remember when I was in homes and stuff, I tried to make the families feel at ease, right? Yeah. So if it was like, an older lady and her husband passed away of cancer, I'd kind of play it off as like I'd be walking in the house and I'd say, "Who's this good-looking guy?" And she'd be like, "Oh, that's my husband, and this is the first time we met. And like my goal was, even though this is the worst time of these people's life,
Yeah.
if I left and they weren't smiling, I didn't do my job.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. I think that's actually a really good way to look at it.
Yeah.
You know, I think a lot of people, I kind of almost want to address the audience here is like, you know, you may think, oh, like, how do you live with yourself doing this? Adam is the person that has the guts to go out and literally save people from grieving immense grief and knowing that their body or that their loved one is being taken care of.
Yeah.
And I think that's the beauty in this job is that people can trust you to get it done properly, professionally, and with care because you genuinely do care. I mean, you can tell, right? Like when you walk into a place, you show that you know what you're doing, you're professional, and you care, right? And you're soft-hearted.
Yeah.
You have empathy, right? And I think that's the beauty, and I think what you get to do is you actually have an opportunity to try to, you know, make an lasting impact in somebody in their worst moment. And that takes the biggest person.
Right.
It really does.
Yeah. Thank
so, of course, I wanted to make that announcement because
thank you very much.
yeah, as much as like death can be an interesting thing and a, fascinating thing, I agree. I think it can be. Some people might not even like talking about it. I think it's a 50-50 type situation, but in the end, you're the person that is actually willing to go out and do this when 99% of the population won't, yet that 1% is what people need.
Right.
You know what you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and this job isn't for anyone. Everybody's so interested in it, right?
Yeah.
Like I talked to you earlier, and I was saying, like, death is the most interesting thing in the world, and everybody wants to know what's going on.
Yeah.
Like, anytime you read something on Facebook or Instagram, somebody passed away, there's a car accident, why are the police here? Why? What happened?
Take what just happened with Alec
Baldwin.
Yes.
Yeah.
Take what just happened with him, right? Total accident. It was more what happened that people were interested about.
Yeah.
Right.
And how did it happen?
Yeah.
Right. People are interested. And I remember I was going to the gym working out, and word gets around that I did body removal. Right. So this guy comes up to me, and he's a really big guy and muscle guy. And he says to me, "I heard you do body removal." And I said, yeah, that's what I do. He goes, "Well, I want to get a job." He said, "Well, I'm really not hiring anyone right now." And every time I saw him, "Let me come and work. Let me come and work."
Yeah.
This is a big guy working out, bench pressing 300 pounds, whatever, right?
Yeah.
And so I said, "Okay, you can come out with me. I'll bring you out to a call to see how we're going to work out." So he got in his suit. We ended up getting a call one day for this elderly woman at a nursing home. And it was an expected death. She was sick for a while.
Yeah.
And so I went and picked this guy up, and he says, "Oh, I'm not scared of anything." And I said, well, that's good. Like, I need somebody like that.
Yeah.
Who's not going to,
Well, that's true.
So we go and we go into the room with the gurney. And this guy said, "Listen, follow my lead. I'm going to talk to the family. Just kind of watch what I do." So I'm sitting there talking to the family, and the next thing I hear is boom against the wall. And I turn around, and he's through the drywall.
Are you serious?
Passed right out.
Are you kidding me?
Yep. And this was like a 94-year-old woman who peacefully passed away at a nursing home with her family around. This guy just saw this woman and lights out. It was, I turned around and I said to the family, I said, "Oh man, like, sorry, you got to leave the room for just a second." And they're like, "No, like, it's okay. Like, we get it." And I kind of explained to him, like, this is the first time this guy's been out, right? So I'm sitting there and I'm helping the guy up. And I said, "What's going on?" He goes, "Well, I don't know." He goes, "We walked in the room and I saw her laying in the bed, and I don't remember anything after that." That guy didn't work out. Let's just say that guy didn't work out. I wasn't going to bring him on any more calls with me.
It's such a touchy subject when you're bringing someone new. I can't imagine the hiring process. Like, I asked you, it was funny because I asked you, literally when you came here, I was like, "So what happens when you can't take a call?" You immediately said, "No, I always take a call."
Yeah.
And I don't blame you, right?
Yeah.
But then I said, "Okay, well, you don't have any days off?" "No, I don't have days off." And then I said, "Why don't you hire a team?" "Nope, can't trust anybody." And I didn't really understand it until now. if I'm going to be totally honest,
Right.
because you don't know if somebody can handle that. That is like,
So with the crime scene cleaning stuff, it's not as intense as the body removal stuff.
Right.
So that's intense. That's like heartfelt. Like out of the all the calls I've done, I remember almost all of them. Right. And sometimes I forget about some, but sometimes I'll drive past the house and I'll be like, I've been in that house before, right?
Yeah.
But with the crime scene cleaning stuff, everything's done. Now it's just time to clean up and get people's lives back to normal.
Yeah.
Right? Doing the restoration side of it. And, so I did a sudden death. There was a sudden death a couple weeks ago in Niagara Falls at a hotel.
okay, yeah.
And the woman who managed the hotel was devastated. Like, well, I don't know what I'm going to do. And you got to think there's a lot of stuff that happens when you pass away. Putrefaction, your body starts to want to lose fluids. The decomposition process starts, right? So it can get pretty messy at times. And this woman was like, and the smell too. The woman was like, I don't know what to do. And I was able to get the room back to normal so she could rent it out.
So you, like, when that happens, a body passes away, let's say a hotel.
Mm-hmm.
You literally, somebody would hire you, I guess. Who hires you in that situation?
So sometimes it's, like a landlord or a family member.
Okay, so
right,
all right.
or victim services. Or,
Gotcha. So
right?
it's literally anybody. Because I was curious as I was saying that. I was going to ask. You go into a house and you literally take. The body was there. It may have been removed. Mm-hmm. You don't necessarily always remove bodies, is what I'm understanding.
No, so I don't remove any bodies anymore.
Oh, gotcha.
Right?
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, so I don't do that anymore. I just do the cleanup now.
Understood. So now the bodies get removed,
Mm-hmm.
and then they call you. Mm-hmm. We need it professionally cleaned, sorted out.
Yep.
That would literally mean cleaning the floors, getting rid of the smell,
removing the mattress wherever they passed away, a couch. Sometimes. If they died on a floor, remove carpet, remove the underpad, remove the subfloor, all of that's biohazard and you have to get rid of everything, right?
Oh, I see. So it's more...
And then restore it, right?
Yes.
Put in new wood.
Oh, so you're doing that too?
So just the basic stuff.
Basic
I don't
stuff.
do new
It's
carpet.
not like you're a contractor.
Yeah, I'm not a contractor.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Right?
We'll still hire... Okay, so I can't ask you to build my house someday? Okay.
No.
Understood. But, man, it's interesting stuff. So... You don't do body removal anymore. You do the crime scene cleaning.
Yeah.
Can we get into, was there a reason for that? Was it like you kind of wanted to move on?
Yeah,
or?
So that's kind of like the same thing as I got into the body removal. I worked at a restoration company and they called me out and we had a death call. And it was at a farmhouse. So we went in and I was with some younger guys too, right? And they said, I can't take the smell. Like, I'm not going in. I was like,
is it really that bad? It's
bad. It's bad.
Yeah.
Hits you in the face like a train. Yeah.
Wow.
So I was like, this is my thing. This is what I do. I'll go in, no problem, right? So I went in and I was the guy that kind of started removing stuff and getting stuff kind of prepped for the other guys to come in too, right? And I was like, why am I doing this with these?
Yeah, that actually makes a lot of sense.
And here's the thing too, the homeowner, so it was the father who passed away and the son came to the house and
noticed that he passed away.
Yeah, I noticed he passed away. So when they called us out to go do the job, I'm there with this restoration company that I was working for and the family's there, so the son is there and I'm with these younger kids and they're like, it stinks in here. And I'm like, you can't say that in front of this man whose father just passed away. Like, this is insane, right? So at that moment, I was kind of like, I know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
You
can handle it.
I've seen a lot of death. I've seen a lot of stuff that a lot of people couldn't handle. And I'm like, I'm the perfect guy for the job. I'm starting my own company, right? So that's what I did to open up.
It's obviously going well. I mean, I can imagine, just keep at it. Like, and that's what you're doing, and it's going to work out. I know you said it was maybe a little bit rough right now. You certainly have competition, but
not rough, but it's like, you know what I mean? Like
the growth stage, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah. I've only been in business with this for just over 2 years.
Yeah. You know what though? Like somebody like you who knows what they're doing and goes above and beyond, it's bound to just completely take off to the point where,
right.
You might not be able to take a call because you were literally always on a job. But,
right.
you need 6 hours of sleep minimum, right?
Yeah.
And breakfast, maybe Tim's along the way.
Yeah,
but
for sure.
Is there any, and without, I guess, getting too graphic, is there any stories, because you said, you've gotten used to it, but that doesn't come with being hit by some stuff that's like, whoa, that, I cannot believe I saw that today. Was there anything like that for you, I guess, when you were doing the body removal, that was like, man, do I still want to do this?
Yeah, there was this one time where I really questioned myself. I'm not going to get into detail.
Yeah, no
but
need.
There was a homicide, and it was with a young girl.
Oh my God.
I think she was about 6 or 7. The parents had something to do with it. And so we're standing there with the police outside of the room, and they're giving the family the opportunity to come in and say one last goodbye. So I'm standing there, and the dad comes around the corner like this, and I'm watching him, and he looks into the room and he sees his daughter laying in the hospital bed. And I watched that man his whole entire life break in front of me. Covering his mouth. I'll never forget him doing that like this. Drop to the floor, crying and saying, "Oh my God," and screaming. And I'm kind of like, what am I doing here? Why am I here? I don't know if I can handle this. And that was one call that I was like, I don't know. But I persevered and kind of got through that. And I was glad, even though I didn't speak to the family, I was glad that I was the one who was able to
you know what? I can
the
imagine there's some comfort in knowing that this situation is managed by you. I think that definitely helps you because you're good at what you do, meaning you're good with relationships, because I've said it before, business is relationships. And as much it is as for you is it is a business, it is actually more so than I honestly think any job out there, relationship. No doubt about it. And you are just meeting these people. This is you want to test your first impressions? Do what you do. Seriously.
Yeah.
So it's very interesting. I think it seems like you find comfort in knowing that when you get to manage a job, that those people will feel comfort in your services, will still grieve, but will feel comfortable with you. Yeah. Right.
And that's what I like about the crime scene cleaning stuff too, right? This is people, whether it's a hoarding situation or, a sudden death, the landlord sitting there and he's like, oh man, now I got this problem on my hands. What do I do? Right. And I really enjoy removing everything and kind of putting everything kind of back to normal. So people are like, oh, good. I'm glad that you have this service. A lot of times, and even now I'm having a hard time. People don't know who to call. Right.
Yeah.
And, I don't know. I'm just glad that I'm able to help out.
Well, it's an opportunity. It's an opportunity to, I guess, try to make the process softer. Yeah. Right. You can't, whatever you do, you cannot make it better. It's I don't think it's possible, but I think it's possible to soften it.
Right.
And I think that to even soften it by 1% takes a special person.
Yeah.
Right.
And there's a lot of people out there like that. I tell people what was your reaction when I called you up?
You know what? I was shocked. I was happy to know that I'm getting this person calling me out of the blue.
Right.
But I was shocked.
Yeah.
Really.
And in that, and your reaction is the same as everybody else's. And they're like, what do you do for a living? There's been a lot of calls that I've been on where I'm like, this is weird. Yeah. you know, without getting into too much
Yeah,
stuff,
yeah.
right? But it's like, nah, I don't know. Like they're like, oh, this is a sudden death. I'm like, yeah, right. And there's been times where I've called the coroner and I said, because sometimes when the coroner comes out, they'll just say, okay, just transfer to the hospital. I'll be there in the morning to check the body out.
Right.
And there's been times where I'm like, nah, I think you need to come out here. Like you need to actually come out and check it out. Right. Because we're the people, like we're moving the body around and seeing stuff, you know, like I've moved a body before and there was a knife under the body that
Really?
nobody caught. Right.
Are you serious?
Oh yeah. And, so I would tell the police, hey, you know, look at what's going on. So at that point, it becomes a crime scene. We're out of there. We're
Like you're out. Like,
yeah. There was one time that that something happened, and my partner and I noticed, and we brought it to the attention of the police, and they're like, "You can't even move your stretcher. You have to leave, and we'll call you back when you're good to go."
Like the amount of steps.
Oh,
guess.
it's a whole process. It's
That's
a whole process.
crazy.
A lot of people a lot of people don't understand the whole death process, right? There's so many steps and so much stuff involved in it. You know, it's very intricate in what goes on in just a simple death, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, even to the end, to where I'm done. Like when the police tape is down, the police leave. That's where I come in and I start cleaning up, right? But that could be even a week, maybe 2 weeks
Oh,
after.
really?
Yeah, right?
So like the smell it, like that sticks for that.
Oh, it sticks. Yeah, yeah,
Wow.
yeah. So I don't know if you checked out my Instagram yet there, but
Oh, I haven't.
yeah, you have to check that out.
We'll pop it up. What is it? We can let people know.
It's the Grim Sweeper 79.
the Grim Sweep.
Yeah.
That's right.
So yeah.
That's good.
So-
That's good. So I guess it lasts like, I mean, how, like, can you give some of the, I don't know if that's too much, but can you give some of the process of what that looks like? You showing up to a scene to now leaving, like what are the steps?
So it kind of
between?
depends on what the call is, right?
Right.
So if it's a sudden death and there's been a decomposition, in general, kind of you go in, open the door, there's a smell. You have to put on our suits that we were wearing and our mask. You have to wear those. There could be some maggot activity. You see a lot of blood. You see a lot of fluid that's leaked onto the floor. So what we do is remove the source. We got to remove that couch, right? But there's a certain way you got to do it. You can't just take the couch and throw it in the garbage or put it at the side of the street, right?
Yeah.
There's a process you got to do. And then from there, it's kind of like get rid of the source of the biohazard, and that could be removing the couch, removing the carpet, underpad, like I was saying.
Yeah.
That could leak into the subfloor, you know, even further sometimes. It can get bad sometimes, right? So
yeah, wow. It's like
there's
you
a lot
gotta
involved.
Be able to handle it. Even then, like even if there is no body there, being able to handle an actual crime scene, let alone like you were explaining with the restoration company.
Yeah.
The guys couldn't even handle a crime scene.
Yeah.
Granted, couldn't even. I guess I should rephrase that because I don't think I
Right.
could, to be honest
Yeah.
with you. Like but it's interesting because it just goes back to it has to be the right person. Like the right people have to be called for that job.
Right.
Right.
So, you know, you get a like I have friends that know, right? So I have a friend who owns an apartment building and a death happened in his
Really?
apartment. And he called me up. I haven't talked to this guy in 5 years. He goes, I know you're in the death industry somehow. What do I do? This woman passed away in one of my apartment buildings. And I'm like, well, I'll come and clean it up.
Because he's
like,
probably
that's what
the
I
first
do
person
now,
to
right?
notice it, eh?
Yeah. And he's like, I don't want anyone but you. Like, you're
Just
my
get it
guy.
done,
He goes,
yeah.
you were the first guy that I thought about. Right. So
I guess in the sense of business, your name sticks because when somebody understands like now, I will never forget that I knew a guy named Adam that cleaned up bodies and then switched over to a crime scene career, running his own business, cleaning up scenes
Right.
of where deaths happened. I'll never forget that. So if like I own a property, you know what I'm saying? Like
Yep.
it sticks with people. So from a business perspective, you know, when I hear of a real estate agent, I might think of 3 or 4. with death, I think of one person.
Yeah.
That one person is you. If I didn't know you up until today,
Yeah.
it would be the police. And then I don't know what else to do from there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
and a lot of people don't know what to do. They're like, that's the thing. They're like, who do we call? Who do we call? Right. So, and it is the police first, or, a lot of people call the funeral homes first if they have, pre-existing funeral plans.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. But, it's a process. And then, but the thing is, they're like, okay, well, now that the body's gone, we have this mess and we don't want to touch it. Who do we call?
So wait, let me ask you this. Can the police clean it up? Like, are they trained? No.
They want nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
They want nothing to do
I
with
mean,
it.
Realistically, not a waste. Well, it kind of is a waste of their time because, you can't go and solve or break up a fight, or that's not your job. If the police got to go, they got to go. Right. And so I guess it helps to have somebody like you. Right.
Yeah.
Like it does because,
and that's the thing. I give my cards out, to the police. I give my cards out to real estate agents, because even I have a friend who's a real estate agent, and he ended up getting this house that it was a hoarding house. And he's like, well, how am I going to clean this up? Adam, he'll come and clean it up. Right.
I see. Yeah.
So I work with a lot of real estate agents and, do stuff for them, and I'm there for them. And
yeah.
It's
it's really interesting. Like, that's what it is, because you do everything across the map, right? And I guess, let me ask you this is, most of your business, is it cleaning hoarder houses? Is it, crime scene cleaning? Like what?
I clean what nobody else wants to clean.
Right. So it varies that much.
I do blood, urine, feces.
Right.
I do residential cleaning as well. It's like the stuff that nobody wants to clean.
Right.
I'm going to clean it.
I mean, and here's the thing is, I guess once again, from a business perspective, when nobody wants to do something, they'll pay top dollar to get it done.
Right.
Right. And that's where, I can see where your job would be very successful in terms of financially, but also growth, because when you do that, like when you're called to clean up a scene, right? Mm-hmm. There are probably 10 people right at that scene, at that very moment, especially if it's a sudden death, that you can hand your card to.
Yeah.
Am I right?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
And so, and that sticks with people. Like, that's the advantage. So I don't know, like, do you feel like over time your business is bound to just consistently grow literally year by year?
Well, that's what I hope.
Yeah,
right?
Obviously, every business, right?
But like that's what I want to do. I want to be, the guy in Niagara, Hamilton, that people are like, "Hey, like we got to call Adam. Like we got to call Adam for this job." And I want to have. I'm in restoration, right? So the companies that I used to work for, they do water damage, fire damage.
Oh, so they're everywhere. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So, but nobody, I think, and don't quote me.
Yeah.
I think I'm the only crime scene cleaning company within Niagara.
Right.
I think I'm the only one.
I gotta be honest.
Right.
I don't know of any.
Yeah,
literally. Right. And it's very, like the opportunity you can tell is there.
Yeah.
Like no questions asked.
Yeah.
Right.
So like I want to be that guy that where people are, whether it's drugs or, meth, fentanyl that needs to be cleaned from a house, or a landlord's got some tenants that are into drugs and they need it cleaned, or whether it's from a car.
Okay. Yeah.
I want to get into that, right? Like
So,
I want to be.
Do you get, sorry to cut you off, do you get into like drug busts and stuff like that?
No.
Like, no.
No. It's
So-
just the remediation after the fact.
Okay, that's what I mean. So, like,
Yeah.
if the police, find a home that's selling drugs illegally, or I don't really know that, but they would call you to come clean it up.
The homeowner or maybe insurance would call.
Gotcha. Okay, because it's not really the police's job to go clean that up.
Yeah.
Right.
So it's kind of like when the crime scene tape is gone, the police have left.
Now what do we do with the property?
Now what do we do? Right. And that's where I want to stand out and
I mean, I'm not going to clean up fentanyl if I'm a landlord.
It'll kill you.
Yeah.
right?
Like you don't know how.
You know, I'm trained and certified in cleaning this stuff, right? You can't just call somebody to clean up a fentanyl house.
Hey Wes, can I pay you $20 an hour? Yeah, I got some cocaine just laying all over the floor. Yeah, thanks, man. I'll send it the transfer later.
But even that
doesn't work
full
like
hazmat
that.
suit and respirator.
Yeah.
Like, you know, I even, so like when I have to go do, so sometimes I get called for cars that have been stolen, and you know, these guys want to go take the car on a joyride or whatever. I say, and they call me and they say, hey, can you come clean this car? Like, we can salvage it, and we just want it clean. Carpets, take the seats out, clean the whole thing, make sure it's safe for the family to get back in. I hire somebody to stand there and watch me with naloxone in case I start acting goofy, right?
Really?
Oh, yeah. Right? Like, somebody will come with me and they'll just stand there kind of watching me while I clean. Because if you mess with fentanyl, man, that's a different monster, right? So if I'm cleaning the car and, you know, I start saying, you know, you should really come in the back seat and check out this toilet back here. That's when my guy's like, okay, he's been affected by the fentanyl. Time for me to hit him with the naloxone. Right?
Wow.
You start acting weird, saying weird stuff, you know? So, and it's never happened, thank God. But, but you don't know.
You know what?
Right?
I admire it because you take your precautions, and like, you know, there's every job you make your mistakes. Mm-hmm. Some jobs you try not to make mistakes. I mean, I'm a sports guy. Look at the NFL, right? I love football.
Yeah.
You get paid not to make mistakes, just to do your job, right? Mm. Then when you make mistakes, it looks really bad. But is it the end of the world? No. Could it be the end of your career? Very much so, right? I would consider that a high risk job because if you make enough mistakes, you're done for.
Oh yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
As a real estate agent, you make a few mistakes, word gets out, right? But as somebody who is being trusted with like something as important as death in whatever variation at whatever time period, whether it was 2 months after or a week after, there's no room for mistakes. Like no learning lessons. I mean, there might be a little bit, but like realistically, you cannot make mistakes.
Yeah.
You know, like you get infected with fentanyl. Like that's
it's not something to mess around with.
Yeah.
Right.
So go ahead.
No. I'm just saying, like sometimes people think, well, I'll just get somebody to come and clean this up. That's dangerous.
Yeah, like,
that's real. That's playing Russian roulette there.
Yeah.
Right?
No, seriously. So I guess let me ask you this last question here. So what would be the future? Like, where do you want to see your company go? I know you want to be the guy in Niagara that, like, we got to call Adam. And of course, that's great. How do you plan on getting there? Like, what are some...
So I don't want to make $1 million.
Yeah.
Right? I want to live comfortably. I have a family. I have 4 kids and, you know, so right now I'm running my business out of my 1-bedroom apartment. Right. And out of my truck. So I would like to have a small shop one day where I can kind of run my stuff out of and, you know, have an office there and maybe have a secretary work for me and have a couple guys that are going to come help me out doing jobs, right? But I don't want to be that guy where I'm like, well, I'm the boss. I'm sitting home. Everybody else can take care of it.
Yeah.
I want to go to every call. I want to be in like Flint, right?
Yeah.
I want to be to every call and I hope it stays like that. Like, I don't want to be a boss. I want to have a team. Right?
Yeah. And you know, like a business side would say, well, you know, Adam, then you can't make $1 million because you're not, you know, I guess growing to your maximum potential. But it doesn't sound like you really want to. Like you said, you know, you actually enjoy your job and helping people.
I love it.
I mean, I got to be honest. Nobody in their right mind would do this job because they enjoy the entire job as a whole, because it's not an easy job. But to be able to help people, I can see that is probably your biggest joy. Yeah. And what you do is that you get to be that light, you know, when it's not a great situation.
Yep. And that's what I love about it. I love making people feel better in the worst or shittiest position in their life. Yeah. Right? You know, mom just passed away. You know, I'm waving and smiling as I'm leaving with the body, say,
and they're
or
smiling.
or
Yeah.
you know, or like, you know, there's been like a really something, a traumatic event happen, and I'm leaving and people are like, Adam, thank you so much for cleaning this up. Like, we don't know what we do without you, kind of thing. And I'm not looking at that for gratification.
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
But
but
I'm
you
just
know-
like, I'm glad I was able to be the one to help you.
And you think, I don't know what we would do without you. Seriously. Like that.
yeah.
I don't, like, if I was ever in that position, or if, I'm just trying to think from their perspective in that position. If it wasn't for you, like what do they do?
Yeah.
Who do they call? Like a cleaning service, a maiding service is not going to clean that up.
No.
Like,
No,
you
this, ain't,
know,
this,
like,
this ain't no Molly Maid
yeah,
stuff, right?
Molly Maids has their industry of their own,
Yeah.
But I guess on that note, Adam, man, thank you so
Yeah,
much
thank you for having me.
for coming out. Like it and hazmat suits, bringing the hazmat suits,
yeah.
the masks. That was awesome.
Yeah.
But anybody who's interested in contacting Adam, you can reach him via his Instagram account, or I guess shout out like your number or
Yeah.
website, whatever.
So my number, my phone number, contact me directly. That's another thing too. I don't do a lot of email stuff or whatever. I want to be called on the phone directly. That's how I like doing business. So my phone number, you can reach me, Trillium Environmental, at 289-931-8191. I do have Instagram. It's the Grim Sweeper 79. And then I also have a Facebook account, Trillium Environmental.
Gotcha. Well, perfect. No, Adam, thanks so much for
Thank you.
for letting people know about that. I'm sure you won't get any bookings, but you may get some calls.
Yeah, I mean-
I don't think you get many bookings, so let's be honest. But no, it was great having you, man, and it's definitely interesting to see a perspective that I guess a lot of people don't get to see, right?
Yeah.
From this side of the job. But we're posting this on Halloween, so happy Halloween,
Happy
everybody.
Halloween.
Happy 31st, and have fun trick or treating and have a good night, everybody. Thank you so much for listening or watching. Cheers.